Temple Ashaju is live to us now. Not at the Nigerian Stock Exchange since the doors are closed. It's live here, sitting next to me at our global headquarters here. It's a pleasure and privilege to have him here.
And it's good to incidentally be pinstripe with you.
Well, have a great day here. So let's talk about it. It's always done on Skype and whatever digital technology. Now let's do this face to face.
Absolutely. So we know that the CBN has actually asked some individuals and some corporates to steer clear OMO auction, and that in recent time has forced asset managers to now start looking the way of equities, which is why we saw an uptick in our week-to-date analysis of the equities
Very
market,
interesting that the banks picked up nearly 10%.
Yeah, exactly, because again, the tier one names are the major drivers at this point. They're the first port of call whenever investors go the way of equities.
They have liquidity. They have liquidity, they have the right float.
Move up, move down, you give entry, exit, re-entry. At all time, there's always demand on those compared to what you have in the consumer goods segment of the market, which is the reason why we saw a decline on that segment at this point.
So the banks gave the markets, the NSE, that very little jump to try to hold it better. It's a good one. What other details do you have? Let's see that on the screen.
So starting from the top, the key benchmark indices was positive, 0.08%. We settled at 26,314.49. And of course, the year-to-date losses that we've seen in recent times has now moderated to 16.3%, given this level of interest demand that we had on the stocks last week. We saw activity level for the week 2.06 billion, and of course valued at some 18.431 billion naira. All these took place in 16,778 deals. We got the banking sectors pushing, having the highest gain, 8.51%. Consumer goods was down 5.91% because investors are not too bullish on a lot of those brewery companies that you have listed on that sector of the market. And of course, a couple of other FMCGs that you have there, they're not really attractive to investors now. Industrial goods segment of the market, we saw a 2.05% increase on that particular sector because we saw CCN given its deal merger plan with Obu Cement, that's pushed up the indices or pushed up the performance of that company. The price was up by some 10.6% week on week. Investors have now digested the terms and conditions of this particular M&A. Insurance segment of the market was up as well, 0.43% marginally, because again, you know, the recapitalization exercise on that particular segment is a major reason why investors are looking that way for speculative purposes. Again, last week, for the greater part of last week, we saw some resignations in some insurance companies. Law Union and Rock was one of them, and of course, that led to some kind of cross-dealing one way or the other. Some investors exited, some made re-entry. That's impacted on the performance of this sector. Oil and gas was still lackluster, down some 0.25%. Energy segment of the market for Friday, specifically, most of the companies remained unchanged except for two companies, and that will be MRS, which, of course, MRS was unchanged, but that will be O&O, which is down by 1.19% on Friday to 3.33 naira. We don't know the direction or how low this particular company is going to fall in spite of some 1.6 million units of its shares traded on Friday alone. The second company that was down was Capital Oil, was down by 4.89%. And of course, that's they changed the price to 24 naira 30 kobo. On the NASD front, we've got positive movements, up some 0.36%. We've seen the NSI now coming back to 701.76. That's a 700 psychological line after hitting some 699 plus some weeks ago. Volume of transactions for the week was 26 million and valued at 44.94 million naira. And we saw a total of 29 deals on that side of the market last week alone. If we take a look at the bonds market on the fixed income side of things, fixed income remained bullish. We saw pension fund administrators and, of course, a lot of asset managers trying to reinvest their coupon repayments from some of the transactions they had during the week. And, of course, we saw average yields, falling much lower to some 12.9%. Last week. But on Friday alone, we saw 46 deals and, of course, 8.46 billion naira worth of transaction took place there. For the treasury bill side of the market, we got total volume they're now beginning to decline as a result of the CBN policy. We've seen bearish sentiment, particularly on Friday alone. We saw 522 deals on the secondary side of the market, and of course valued at 273.71 billion naira. We've seen rates now really falling much lower, so at 12.19%.
Quite a great one.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you had a very busy week last week, not with the FMDQ, with the NESD, Air Liquid, brokers briefing, then the Osun State governors coming to the stock exchange and briefing. Sure. It looks like a very busy week. But I think we will need to spare some time, maybe tomorrow, next day or so, to look at this state governments coming through. If you look at the front pages of the newspapers, it's all the hard times that state governments face now with the minimum wage coming.
So it's not only the asset managers, it's not only the banks that are looking for or scrambling for assets or fund or liquidity. The state governments are also
on the roll.
And the destination remains the market.
And this is the market straight.
Sure.
So Lagos State government is also looking for funds.
Absolutely.
As rich as Lagos is, 1 point whatever trillion naira budget.
Sure.
Lagos is looking for money despite heavy IGR, the highest in the country.
Sure.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the governor, is looking for money. Temple, thank you so much. Our business correspondent. So let's. What did Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has to say at the FMDQ Capital Markets Conference, the Gold Awards? What are his plans on how to fund Lagos State first trillion naira budget, and what does it mean for the debt market at the subnational level? Let's take a listen to the Lagos State Governor.
1.160 trillion. With all modesty, that's the largest budget pronouncement by any subnational in this country. That's the largest budget that has been read by any subnational in this country. And we're making that pledge to all of you within the first 6 months that we've started our government. I know that the people that are here in this room, and I've had a conversation on this table, we actually can double that budget. We actually can deepen and double that budget if we all put up our can-do spirit. Because Lagos truly deserves more. Lagos truly deserves a bigger and a bigger budget. And how much is 1.1 trillion? It's less than $3 billion. Some of our foreign colleagues are here. 1.1 billion, $3 billion is less than what the Department of Fire Service in New York uses. It's less than what they use for child education in the city of New York. It's less than what they use for healthcare in the city of Chicago. The budget of the state of Boston is 33 billion this year. 33 billion is more than the total budget of Nigeria. But what am I saying? I'm saying to you that even as you sit down here as leaders in your market, we certainly need to still deepen that market. We certainly need to still do a lot more to take poverty out of our land, to truly be able to place Nigeria as the economic nerve center of the entire black race. I watched the 11 or 12 kids that came up about an hour ago. A whole lot of us never have the opportunity they had there. Even a whole lot of us as dealers 15, 20 years ago never knew that the market can be this deep. All we knew then was just two-way quotes. And you have to do what we call a boss game. And once you do the boss game, you think you know everything about FX, spot, and forward. Derivative was, we had to go and Google what that means. There was never anything like a bond market. So you can see that we have actually moved. And rightly so, with the likes of FMDQ and Bola leading that conversation, I think they deserve a round of applause. They deserve that place that is writing the narrative for us very well. But why am I here? I'm here because I believe that at this point in time, given all of the opportunity that has been presented to us, we can take that narrative forward, and very quickly so. Nobody gets paid for effort. People only get paid for results, right? So we're not going to stand and give reasons and give excuses as to say that this is what has happened to us and that's where we're, and we start complaining. No, we have the can-do spirit as Nigerians. We have the can-do spirit as Lagosians. We have the can-do spirit as dealers, and so we must begin to take the charge from here to further deepen that market, to further bring out products that can, in truth, take our economy, that can take this country to the right level that it deserves. And in that way, we believe that a place like Lagos will have a major impact. Some of our seniors are here. Patonia, you know, she heads the DMO in the CBN. She's a big person. Because even for me to go to the bond market, to go, you know, and raise money, I need to come and cross the T's and dot the I's, you know, with her. But you see, it all well nice. So, but what I'm saying is that that market, you have started, but we're not there yet. There's still a lot of opportunity. There's still a lot of deepening that we need to do. There's still a lot of conversation and a lot of education that you need to put onto your leaders in the public space. Because not a lot of people in the public space understand that there are instruments that they can use, there are things that they can develop to bring about positive development for our people. We don't have time. You can see the young people are ready to kick us out of this place. You can see that they are yearning. You can see that they have their own future planned out for themselves. Right? So for us here today, I think the least we can do is to open up our hearts and see the tomorrow and see the can-do spirit. For me, as your governor today, I stand in front of you very humble, and I've said that I do not want all those big, big names. I just want to remain, you know, as simple as I can, just so that I continue to remind myself that a public office is a place of public trust, as you dealers as well, because your balance sheet is not your own, it's a private place of trust. I see that position as a place where I can enable a lot of other bigger and greater conversation, where we can take our people out of poverty, where we can reduce issues around environment, drainages, public transportation. And I dare mention and say to you that even in this 1.1 trillion, health and education, apart from infrastructure, are the double things that I'm putting forward. Because I understand fully that human capital development is critical to our sustainable growth as a nation and as a state. And so that's why I want to commend all of you this evening. I want to thank FMDQ for inviting me. I see this charge as something that I need to take very seriously. I see it as a call to order. I see it as a call for me to ensure that this part of my life that I've been part of, I cannot fail you. I cannot fail you, I cannot disappoint you. Because after I leave the job as a public servant, right, I still need to see you. And you still need to remain my friend. And you're going to ask me, what did I do with my time? What did I do with the resources that was available to me? And I want to assure you that for as long as I have this position, I'll use it well. I'll use it to make all of the positive narratives. It will not just be a talk show. It will be to truly, really take our people out of poverty, use the opportunity to create opportunity and platform for the private sector to do well, to have the opportunity to ensure that ease of doing business that we all talk about truly happen in our space, that we can make sure that people know that when they have any interaction with the public office, that is the place that understand that time is money and money is everything for everybody. I want to thank all of you. I want to imagine that we've all enjoyed ourselves. We are still enjoying ourselves this evening. I mean, I'm honored to be with you this evening. I decided to come in this flowing Barbariga because I cannot afford the black suits that all of you have. I really cannot, you know, and I really don't want all of you to dress nicer than me, so I tried to take something else. But really to say that I'm indeed honored to be here. And I want to thank FMDQ. I want to thank the board. I want to thank Coco and your wife, your kids, everyone, your colleagues that are here.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu honored at the FMDQ Exchange Award night. But of course, more important, speaking about the financing Lagos 1.1 trillion naira budget. Lagos State currently has a program of 250 billion naira debt program, which the governor hinted there'll be more raising within that space. Let's leave it there. Of course, Lagos State is not the only one. Within the last 90 days, we've seen the governors of Ekiti and State of Osun visit the stock market looking for ways and selling the opportunities of investment in those southwest states. More governors are expected to come as Nigeria's fiscal space gets a lot more tight, both at the federal and subnational level. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. This time, we go to the land borders. The stakeholders are still having conversations around how to resolve that issue and the impact it has had on their businesses. That's what the Nigeria Shippers Council Stakeholders Forum on Friday was all about. We'll bring you essentials of that.